Now, for every member of the mob asking and saying, how dare Hannity ask these questions, do you even know what my job is? You don't even know what your own job is. I'm a member of the press, whether you like it or not. I am a talk show host on radio and TV. I can produce thousands of hours of television and radio coverage that is straight news coverage. We also do investigative reporting. You know, we got the Russia hoax right. You all got it wrong. We're investigating the Biden family syndicate. You're not. We got Obama's radical associations right. We talk about sports. We talk about pop culture. I give my opinion. I'm honest about it. And I'm kind of like an entire newspaper. That's my job, to ask these questions so I can accurately report back to my listeners and my viewers what is happening. Here with the reaction to this, plus how Israel should respond to Hamas, their heinous attacks. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, is with us. Amazing that, you know, I am admitting that I am a talk show host and I have varying roles. They claim they're journalists. They're not journalists, are they, Mr. Speaker?
Well, they're propagandists for the left, but I've been listening to you defend yourself. That was pretty good. I mean, you had that down pat. I always like it when you start getting on a roll.
You get attacked a lot, right?
It's good stuff. Yeah. Over the years, you know, I think there's one thing people need to know about Jim Jordan. In his wrestling career, he was 156-1. He won 2 national championships. And if you know competitive wrestlers, they're very focused. They're very determined. They have an enormous instinct for figuring out how to get the other person to lose. And Jordan is a very serious, very competent person. Clifton and I were able to have dinner with he and his team just before this Congress opened up. And it was very revealing watching him work with the entire committee and how close he was to his committee members. My guess is either on the first or the second ballot tomorrow, he will be the speaker. I think Speaker McCarthy has a pretty good sense of exactly where they are. He has a good chance of making it in the first ballot. I think he almost certainly will make it on the second ballot because there are a handful of moderates, frankly, who are so angry at the Benedict Arnolds who created this mess that I think they find it hard to turn right around and give them a chance to say, gee, I won. Look how smart I am. So several of them have indicated they might vote for example, for Speaker McCarthy on the first ballot. My hunch is if they did, they would pivot and immediately vote for Jim Jordan. I suspect, except for the couple of people who are nuts on the and so we're part of that 8 people who betrayed their party. I suspect almost every Republican now understands that with the war going on in Israel, with the war going on in Ukraine, with the problems we have on the border, this is not a time for the House Republican Party to look childish and silly and in disarray. And I think the pressure will be very great tomorrow to elect Jordan. And I think Jordan will be a very strong, very compelling speaker. And I think he will be represent the whole party. I think in that sense, he gets it. He certainly has as the Judiciary Committee chairman. And I think he will be very smart at getting things done. And of course, he's got the same deadlines McCarthy had. And I do think, frankly, having the government still open with the war going on in Israel vindicates McCarthy's judgment and that he did the right thing for the country, even if it made 8 people angry at him in the conference.
Whether you like him or don't like him, you got to admit he's being pretty gracious in helping to reopen the People's House, which I would argue it has to happen. It is an imperative, especially with all that you mentioned going on. Let's get your take on Israel. To me, the outcome needs to be, and I think it will be, Israel wins, even if they're fighting a 2-front war. In the north, Lebanon, Hezbollah. In the south, Gaza, Hamas, all funded by Iran. So they got very difficult military challenges ahead of them. And I think America, our house needs to be open. However, the question is, I think the outcome has to be not only winning, but Gaza they've got to end Gaza as a launching pad for the tens and tens of thousands of rockets over the years they have fired into neighboring, very, very close by, Israeli cities. That has to come to an end once and for all. And I'm not sure Biden has the stomach to allow them to do what they need to do to protect themselves. Your thoughts?
Well, President Biden going to Jerusalem, frankly, worries me because I don't think we have any idea what he's likely to do. And given how weak and how appeasement-oriented towards Iran that his administration has been, it has me worried. Look, there are three things, and a good friend of mine, Heather Higgins, wrote me about this evening. There are three things that Biden could do immediately. One, he could seize the billions of dollars sitting in Qatar that should never, ever go to Iran. They still haven't done that. It's utterly inexplicable. Two, he could pressure Egypt and others for a temporary agreement to get people out of Gaza. It's very important, if you want to minimize civilian casualties, to find a way for them to get out of the way of what should be, and which I totally support, a thoroughly crushing Israeli ground offensive designed to destroy and eliminate Hamas. I mean, if Hamas exists a year from now, they have won. This has been a victory for them. If Hamas is truly destroyed, it'll send a signal to Hezbollah in the north. It'll send a signal to Iran that you're going to mess with us at your own risk. The third thing I think Biden has to do is communicate to Iran and to Hezbollah that we will hold them accountable. And by that, I mean, you don't send 2 nuclear aircraft carriers and their battle groups to the Eastern Mediterranean as a PR event. We have to be prepared to take out every asset Hezbollah has if they decide to open a second front against Israel. We have the capacity to do it. One battle group alone has over 800 Tomahawk missiles. And I think that we need to communicate clearly. You get into this game, you're going to be crushed decisively, and you're going to follow Hamas into the trash bin of history.
All right, Mr. Speaker, Newt Gingrich, always good to have you, sir. Thank you for being with us.